Hi, everybody. My name's Stephen Bull, and I'm the team lead for the StudyStack team for CSCI441 at Fort Hays State University. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about StudyStack. I'll start for a little bit, and then I will end up passing off the demo to my amazing front end and back end teams so that they can give you a little bit more insight on both of their parts and the part that they played in bringing this full application together, which is nothing short of amazing. Fantastic team. So uh, let me get started. So let me tell you a little bit about StudyStack first. So StudyStack, kind of came as an idea to me. Just as a full-time student, I was juggling multiple courses, a full-time job, extracurricular activities, and a family. I found it increasingly hard to just keep up with my studies and everything. Traditional study techniques like reading textbooks and jotting down notes and reviewing those notes are useful, but pretty time consuming and honestly pretty monotonous. Plus, let's face it, old fashioned paper cards just, you know, they're not practical anymore. Take up space, take up a lot more time, get easily lost, torn, soaked in coffee spills, because I've been there. So some of my friends have tried existing learning applications as well as myself, but they come with their own set of problems. Mainly my friends who are non-technical, and even myself, I find that these systems are way too complex now. Like I just want to have a fancy flashcard app. I don't want to have to, do all this extra stuff, and I just want to see what I want to see, and I want to do it quickly. I just want to get in, learn, get out. So that kind of brought StudyStack to fruition here. So this is mainly for self-learners who, are increasing in number, mainly because of the rise of online courses and tutorials. But they also face the similar changes or challenges as well. Most platforms are either too clunky or user interfaces become, you know, too burdensome, basically. And a lot of these applications now, all have their hand out for money. So that becomes a financial burden, especially with students. They're trying to keep their budget afloat. They're trying to, stay conscious. So, we kind of brought all those aspects together for StudyStack, and I believe we created something very special. So, what is StudyStack? So, StudyStack is an app for you. It's an app for me. It's an app for teachers. It's an app for everybody. It's a user-focused application for learning. Um, so I kind of don't want to say it's a glorified um, note card app, but it really is. And that way, um, that way you can keep all of your note cards, your flashcards all in one place, safe, never going to be lost, unless for whatever reason you want to delete your learning stacks or what have you. So you can come in here and you can access your flashcards at any point in time. You can organize them based on subjects, and you can even uh, you know pull them up whenever, really. Um, Also, one of the benefits of StudyStack is you can study your favorite subjects for free. We will never charge you. We will never have additional, an app store listing where we're going to charge you money for the app. We're not going to have things where you can basically anything behind a paywall will not happen. We have students in mind, really, and we want to keep this as low budget for them and not be a financial burden. Um, so, Using our app, learners and teachers can facilitate expedited learning. Teachers can use this as well to help their students learn concepts. Flashcards are great, not only for immediate memory, but extended memory as well. And one of the things that we utilize to help you memorize things is a spaced repetition algorithm. And what that means is If you look at several flashcards, let's say the first flashcard right, you get the second flashcard right, but you get the third one wrong. So, obviously you got the first two right. You don't need to see those again during this learning session, but that third one that you got wrong, you definitely need to see it again. And so what we do is we use a specialized algorithm to find a place in your deck where we're going to reinsert that and then show it again at a later time in your same learning session so that you can see it again over and over and build that long-term memory. StudyStack will also be giving you an integrated learning experience. You can share your stacks with friends. Your flashcard stack. You're like, hey man, like that's a really great physics study stack. You mind if I use that? Yeah, and so your friend can send that over to you as well. That way, you don't have to create your own. You don't have to sit there and stare at the computer screen and stare at your friend's phone and kind of copy it over. This kind of you know makes the user experience really great. And finally, security is top of mind with StudyStack. You can be sure that your data is encrypted and protected end to end. And what that means is that whenever we send data from the front end to the back end or from the back end to the front end, your data is encrypted, cannot be picked up by packet sniffing or anything like that. Granted, a lot of our data is not super sensitive. However, we make sure to treat all data like it is. And that way you can rest assured that all of your data is safe. Now, moving on to the demo, our front end team, they are the architects behind the vision. They're fantastic. The team consists of Hyojin, Preston, and Reagan, and they've architected and designed the entire client side for a learning focused user experience, and it's fantastic. So, without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to our front end team.
Welcome. We are the front end team for Team StudyStack. This is our Demo2, and I'll get started. So this is our landing page. This is what it's going to bring you to when typing in our URL. Moving on, we have a sign in page that is currently signed in. I'll show you that as it's logged out. And then if we go back to our landing page, clicking on register, we can see that's for creating a new account. So when clicking more info while not signed in, that's going to take you to our sign in. We're going to sign in. So then this takes you to our landing or to our home page where you can see cards that for each set categorized, as well as dark mode now being implemented across certain pages. As well as we have a nav bar being able to search for categories. Moving into here, we have the profile page, which can add information so that other users can know more about you as well as share your lists. And as again, for example, dark mode works throughout the website.
Mm-hmm.
And then moving on, we have our study page, which Hyojin, I'll let you speak on this one.
Mm-hmm. So each flashcard, which is like a study card, is shown using a special React component called flashcard.js. It flips to reveal both the question and the answer with a cool animation. The flashcard shows up in random order, which is cool for remembering stuff. The flashcard looks like squares and stay in the middle of the screen. We use some tricks with style using CSS to make them look nice. We are still working on getting the button in the right place. Yeah, thanks.
All right. And then moving on forward, we have the page where we add stacks, as well as you can add more questions and delete them and enter any information you want. as you can see there. And then finally, we have our contact page for if you have any issues, you can click here and fill this document out just like the others provided on the website. Clicking here will take you right back to home. And that is all for the front end of StudyStack. So thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, front-end team. I mean, your work is incredible. Y'all did a great job, and I really look forward to the next month where we really hone in on the next pieces of this application. It's going to be fantastic. Awesome. Moving on, we now have our backend team. So they are security-centric superstars because our StudyStack is built as a quote unquote dumb client. So what that means is that the front end must completely rely on the server for all information and content. So there's a lot of push and a pull from the client side to make sure data is up to date, making sure that you change your name because you accidentally misspelled it, and make sure that that's always reflected into the front end. We don't store any information on the front end, and why should we? That's not very security minded. So without further ado, take it away, backend team.
All right. Hello. My name is Raymond Lee, and we have Jordan Tyler here, and we are the backend team for the StudyStack server, or the StudyStackApp. Sorry, and this is our Demo2. First off, I'll be going over the endpoint changes that we made, and then Jordan will be going over the database design changes, and also he'll be going over testing that we made with our server. To begin with, the structure of our database and design did not change. We still use MVC. And the changes we have made with our endpoints is that we use less parameters in our URL, and we decided to put more data within the object that the client sends over. And I'm just going to go ahead and go through some of the endpoints right now. So first, we have a get user endpoint. As you can see, the user is Sophia, the email password, and then we'll patch, which will add changes to that user. So Sophia is now Tim Garcia, and we have a new email, new password. And then I will post some categories to a user. Categories are added. And from that, I will now post a stack within the category of sports psychology. Oops. Sorry about that. Got to get the ID first. And there we go. The stack is added under the sports psychology category. And then we will delete a stack from that category. The stack ID from the response of rehab. And then we will put it within our URL as an endpoint. And we also need the new category ID. And there we go, stack deleted. And now we will post a new card. As you can see, the card's added, and then we will make a GET request for that new card. You can see the card's found. And then from this GET request, we will get the ID from this response. And then we will put it in our endpoint. and the card is deleted. And those are changes we've added to our endpoints. And now I'll hand it over to Jordan.
All right, hi there, everyone. Give me one moment to share my screen here. So I'm going to kind of cover a few different things. First off, what the code base changes actually were with regards to the schema. So the schema is the architecture that determines how our database is designed. I tried to simplify this a bit from our previous version. We had a couple more variables in here, as well as a manual date section. So I've changed a couple of those things just to simplify the schema process for us and make it easier to maintain over time. Like Raymond had just showed off, we have generated quite a few new endpoints. We had not gotten to implement all of those in the first version. So in this version here, as documented in our README file on our GitHub, all of those endpoints that he's shown off, along with previous ones, are located here, along with the arguments in the respective locations you need to place them in. So just here, some of the stuff you showed off, getting categories, getting a specific category within categories, deleting specific category, getting your stacks, cards, deleting cards, etc. So the next thing I want to show off here is the actual implementation of these details in a practical way. So this is our MongoDB server, and you can see here, these are some of the previous objects that we had in our database. You'll see the ones that have a sort of blue highlight here on this created at are the newer objects that were created. A good one to show off actually specifically is, let's see here, is probably this one. So you have your categories and your objects in here. It functions very similarly to the previous version, but again, just simplified a few of these key variables in here to make it more legible. And then I will talk about this here is a testing user that I have generated through our testing that I have put in for our endpoint. So let me roll back to the code base here. And in this file here, included in the repo, is a testing.js file. We're using the Mocha testing framework along with the Chai assertion library to do this testing. This covers all of the endpoints on our server. And to start with, it does clean up the database beforehand. So you saw that user object in the database. It will exist after the test is done, but before a new test is run, this function will always clean it up to ensure that none of the post endpoints that we use in our tests will attempt to rewrite a user that already exists and cause errors. So I will just quickly show off the tests running, and hopefully nothing breaks as I have tested this beforehand. So you're just going to run a very simple npm run test as it's configured in our system, and then it'll clear up the database. And after that, it will move through each of the routes. So we'll start with the authorization routes, registering a new user, logging in, logging out. Then it'll do a get and a patch on the user. It will do a get, post, and a get specific categories. So this categories here gets all the categories for the user. This one gets a very specific mentioned here by this ID. Similar thing with the stack routes, you do a post, do a get, and the card routes, we do a post, a patch on a specific card, and get all the cards. And then the last thing is deleting all of these endpoints here. So we have 17 out of our 17 runs passing. And that is everything with the testing. Thank you very much for watching our presentation.
Thank you so much, backend team. Fantastic work. Y'all are rock stars. Awesome. So, that kind of concludes our demo 1. Our roadmap from here to, the end of the semester together, we're really pushing to add the integration for users to be able to share with friends. That's one of our big things, as well as finishing up some really required features in there, like being able to customize your stack the way you see fit, or we don't have deletion in right now, and we would really like to have deletion. That way you don't have to contact support every time that you would like to delete a stack because it's just not working for you or something like that. Finally, we would like to implement end-to-end testing across the front end as well. So those are just some of our highlights and our goals that we plan to finish off strong with the year. Thank you for your time, and have a great rest of your day.